The final module that we're going to be looking at is using SignalR to build a custom data stream. The goals for this mini project are going to be allowing clients to send and receive data, notify clients for an event, notify a group for an event, and then we're going to use the hub of SignalR for our weapon of choice. So essentially we're going to be building a mini application by using SignalR to accomplish what we need to do. So let's look into Visual Studio to see how we build this. Okay, in Visual Studio, one of the first things that we want to do is actually create a couple new pages to use for our custom data stream application. So the first thing that we want to do is create a new class in our con folder. So just go add class. We'll call this my data stream .cs, and just so we don't forget later, let's go ahead and make it all the letters lowercase, and we will do a using signalr.hubs because that's how we're going to do this, and just go ahead and save it, and we'll come back to that here in a minute. Now go to your Solution Explorer again, open up your home controller and scroll to the bottom, and you can copy the last action result and go ahead and hit paste, and instead of no proxy we're going to type in my data stream, and you can right click on the view, say add view, and just let it default. So then we have that. Your home controller can be saved now and closed because we're done with that. Go to your Solution Explorer, and to make life easy for us, we're going to add another action link so we can get to this page pretty easily. And let's see, my data stream, and copy that, and we will paste it. My data stream, it's on the home controller, life's good. Alright, close that. Okay, so now in our data stream here, we're going to borrow some things from the hub's view page. So go open your hub's view, which should be right there under your home folder under your views. So go ahead and open that, and we're going to copy the two input fields, the unordered list and the script section. Go ahead and hit copy there, and we can go ahead back to our my data stream view and go ahead and paste that. So everything is kind of staying similar or close to the same. One of the first things that we need to change is we're not using my hub. We're actually going to use my data stream. That is the class that we are making here. So the next thing that we need to do is just start coding up some stuff here. We are adding groups, so we need to do a couple little things here just to make our life a little easier and to show a little more dynamic to it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a random function in JavaScript. So A, B representing the start and end values, or like your high-low that we're going to do. So I'm going to say var value equals to math.floor, if I can write, math.for, then math.random times b, which is going to be our high level, plus a. So that, like, if you put in, if a is 1 and b is 10, this will return a value between 1 and 10. So it's a nice little thing just to have, especially when you're trying to show kind of randomness, to kind of pretend to have like a bunch of traffic like on a site, or show how things really function in your application. I write functions like this quite a bit. So the next thing that I am going to write is I'm going to go up top underneath my connection, and I am going to create a variable called chooseGroup, and we're going to use our getRandom class, and it's going to be 1, 2, because I only want 2 groups, or I only have 2 groups. So this is a way that I can show, hopefully, between Firefox, Chrome, and Internet Explorer, hopefully one person will at least be in the second group, and the other two might be in the first group, so we can show how messages get split up. So the default group will be West, and now we want to say if choose group equals 1, because we really don't care. We just want to say assign it to the other group, which would be East. Go ahead and close that. Okay. And now I actually want my messages to be different colors when they are group messages. So by default, it's going to be blue. Then we're going to say if group is equal to East, then make the color to green. Cool. Alright, and one of the other things, just so we know who's in what group, go up to your H2 tag next to where it says data stream, put in parentheses, and we're going to put in a span with an ID of group name. And you can probably guess what this is for. If you're not a good guesser, we are going to shove whatever the group name is up there so we know visually who belongs to what group. Okay, so we're going to say group name dot text is the group. So that's just a little jQuery there to do that. My hub.add message, that is staying the same because all that's doing is allowing the server side to call this function and then run that jQuery to add a new list item in our unordered list up here. So that's staying the same, so that's good. Show alert we're not going to use, so we'll just get rid of that. Okay, for the broadcast message, we still want that to go out and to send whatever message to everybody that has a connection, kind of like a chat there. So myhub.join, we're going to add the joining of that. So we're going to allow them to join groups. So, but what we want to do is we're actually going to pass in the group name we want to join. This is something that we didn't get into in terms of group management. It was always assigned by the server of what the group actually was, but now we're actually saying, hey, look, you are going to be part of this group. So this is closer to what you would experience in a real application, where when the page loads, depending on whatever variables you're passing down to the page, or passing up to the page rather, you can have the group assigned to the person when they make the connection back to SignalR. So definitely good to see that stuff. Okay, so connection.start. Let's see, we got some other little things here that we want to do. Oh yes, make a new function, and this function is going to be called our repeater function, and this is what's going to give us kind of the flair, if you will, of how we're going to do our site. So no values and no parameters passed, so repeater, and we're going to say var myInt equal to set interval, and here we're just going to say ping, and then to show it's a different one every time, we're going to say get random, our function we wrote, 1 in 1,000. Now give us plenty of randomness there. My bad. I wrote that incorrectly there. So you set interval, and you actually write function. I was forgetting something. Function. Now within this, we're going to say my hub dot send individual, which is going to be a new method we're going to make, individual. Now there's the ping, and we want this to be random as well, so we're going to say get random, and this is only to show it's, well, randomness, so between 1000 and 5000, it'll put it between 1 and 5 seconds of sending this message out. So that is our interval that we have. Next we're going to do is a set timeout. It's also a function. And the timeout for this is going to be 10 seconds, which is 10,000 milliseconds. And what we're going to do in here is say myHub dot send group. It's going to be a new function we're going to make, or a new method on the back end. And here we're going to say span style equals color, and then you want to do a single quote because we want to pass our color object that we're identifying above. And this is a group message, and we'll identify what group it's actually for. And end our span tag there, and then we're also going to pass the group as well into that method. Okay, that's our first set timeout. We're going to do another set timeout. We're going to do a total of 3, I believe. So I'm feeling today. So in our set timeout, or not set time out. There we go. myHub dot send individual, like we're doing above. And the purpose that's going to be for send individual, obviously, is going to use the caller function. So whoever posts something or makes the connection, they're going to receive an individual message, and nobody else will receive this particular message. So that's the whole purpose here. So we're going to say span style equals color red. And I'm doing inline style just for the sake of argument. Normally you'd want to wrap these in CSS classes and be a little cleaner. You have 5 seconds left. And span. Okay. And the timeout here, we're going to put 25,000, which would be 25 seconds. And our last timeout that we're going to do is going to be to end the random messages. So, and that's going to be at 30 seconds, or 30,000 milliseconds. So here we're going to say myHub dot send individual, and we're going to do a span style color red again, font weight bold, give it a bold look there, and we're just going to say done. So that will be the end of the message transmissions. And what we want to do is clear the interval of myInt that we defined above, so that all gets stopped. Okay, so there's our repeater function. Now all we need to do is go up under the connection.hub.start function. After it joins the group, we want to call a repeater. So that should take care of all of our JavaScript and HTML. So now let's hop over to our data stream, and let's start wiring some stuff up here. First thing we want to do is we want to derive from the hub class, and we also want iDisconnect and iConnected as well. First thing we'll do is we'll just kick it off with task for joining groups. And again, remember we're passing in the group name, so that's going to be different this time around. And let me do this, do a resolve on the task, so notice what that is. Okay, and just close that, make Visual Studio happy. Okay, so now we're going to say return groups.add, and going to be the context with the connection ID and comma group. Easy as that. So that will say whatever connection calls this, and whatever group it is, it's going to assign that to a group. It's sort of like setting a cookie, almost. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is do a disconnect. So public task disconnect, which is a SignalR internal there. So we're going to say var group equals east. And in a real application, you would do this a little cleaner than I'm going to do it, but for sake of argument and speediness, I'm doing it this way. Group dot leave. We're going to go past the contacts and the connection ID. So that's saying if you're in the group east, I want you to leave that group. And because we don't know what group the actual connection is in at this point, I'm going to specify for both of them. So first it's going to try to remove from the group east, and if it's not there, it doesn't matter, it moves on. Then it's going to try to remove for the group west. If it's not there, great, it moves on. So that's kind of how the disconnect works. So the next, oh, yeah, I forgot the return. That's why Visual Studio is around. So it's clients.leave, and this is basically just saying, yep, connection's going away. So datetime.now.toString. There, that should make it happy. I always need a return. Alright, next thing we're going to do is public task connect. So when people connect, we see what goes on. And here we want to say clients.joined context.connection ID datetime.now.toString. Okay, there's that. And we want to return clients.addMessage. So this is calling our addMessage function on the front end. We want to say connection context with the connection ID joined. So that's just letting us know when people join this page in particular that has this code on there. Next thing we want to do is a reconnect. In case that happens, reconnect. Don't forget the IEnumerable. Very important. I overlook it quite a bit until Visual Studio yells at me. So here in reconnect, we want to say return clients.rejoined context.connection ID, and then again the datetime.now.toString. Okay. Alright. Next, we're going to get into our send methods. So the first one out of the gate is going to be our broadcast type message on using the hub. So we're going to say send, and we're just going to type message. And all we're doing here is saying clients dot add message, call our JavaScript function on the front end. And we're just making it bold so you can see it amidst all the other messages that are going on there. So it stands out. So if anybody sends a custom message, it's going to come through and be bold on the screen. So now we want to create our other methods here for sending. So public void send individual, and let's also go past a string for message. And here we're going to say caller, which specifies it to whatever the current connection is. So this is individual connections. So caller.addMessage, calling the front end JavaScript function, and just simply pass in the message. It's easy. The last one is public void send groups, or group rather, for sending a group message. So string message, comma, string group. So it knows what group to send it to. So now This is clients, square brace, group in square brace, add message, and then the message. So here, instead of specifying a group statically, I am allowing it to pass into the indexer as a parameter. So this obviously is probably the way you'll go in your web application, because you know, it's never good to statically assign things like that. So anyways, let's go ahead and save it, and just a quick look over. I believe I've got everything. I'm sure Visual Studio will let me know. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit Control F5 and see what we got. Okay, and I'm going to hop into my data stream, which is the link that we made there. Okay, so it shows I joined. Okay, there's our pings, so they're going. It says I'm in the group East. So let's get Chrome wired up here, and also Internet Explorer. So looks like Internet Explorer is in the other group on West, and there you can see a message came across for the West group and did not show. Well, their stream ended, but did not show over in the Google Chrome, which is on the East. And you know, this connection technically is still open, because I can broadcast a message and I'll say hi on everybody's screen, regardless if it's done or not. The done was just kind of a virtual done, but I didn't really close the connection. So the way you can really see this is if I refresh each of these pages and start it all over, we'll see things as they kind of happen. So if I say hi again, there it is. So it looks like now Internet Explorer and Google Chrome are both in the East group, and Firefox over here is in the West group. So you can see that we're still broadcasting messages across the board regardless of the group, but here in Chrome and Internet Explorer you can see that they are both part of the East group, and Firefox is part of the West group, and SignalR knows how to send the messages individually. And another thing to point out is that you notice these pings with these random numbers. None of the numbers are used between each other. That is the caller function, which is in our data stream. That's our send individual message using the caller function. And what that means is that it's sending those pings just to the individual connection. It's not sending that across the board. Otherwise, we would see like ping 948 across the board. We see ping 592 from the Chrome one across the board. The only thing that went across the board were these messages of hi and yo. And what that's from is from this, send clients.addMessage, because we didn't care. We just said send to anybody that's connected to the site. Our send individual was said send only to the specific connection that you want. And then of course our send group specified the actual group of the clients to send. So that's where we got our green messages for people belonging to the East group, and we got our blue messages for the people belonging to the West group. So this has been an example of how to build a custom data stream and being able to broadcast messages across the board, broadcast messages to individuals, and send messages out to groups themselves.